It's just a cough.
Yeah, right. And the Earth is flat.
Treat your cough seriously with Robitussin CF Max. Nothing lasts longer and treats more symptoms for your cough, cold, and flu. Robitussin, because it's never just a cough.
Flat Earth expert Mark Sargent thinks the moon landing was a hoax.
Technically, the moon itself is a hoax.
Right, but betting with Sportsbet's new iPhone app?
I could do this standing on my head.
Thanks, Gravity. Sportsbet's new iPhone app. It's foolproof.
It's good to see you. I must go. I know I look good.
Hold him. Now you listen to me, you hillbilly punk who thinks the world's still round. I'm here to tell you it's not. It's flat!
Wherever you are, make it Truth Frequency Radio.
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with mainstream science. Meanwhile, the Peanut Gallery is taking a deep look at NASA facts. Fact 1, there have been 509 humans that have traveled into space, not including the 24 that traveled to the moon. Fact 2, the ISS is 254 miles above Earth. Fact 3, on Thursday night, October 10th, 2019, NASA launched a satellite called ICON to explore the Earth's ionosphere, which is the uppermost part of the Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of 360 miles above the Earth. Confusion 1. ICON is 360 miles above the Earth in the uppermost atmosphere called the ionosphere, while the ISS is in space at 254 miles above the Earth. These are the mathematical facts of NASA that would confuse the most sophisticated computer. NASA is inside the Earth's atmosphere? Space? Yeah? New fact 1. According to NASA, the ISS is inside the Earth's atmosphere and should be renamed to International Atmosphere Station, and no one has been to space since Apollo 17 in 1972, if that even happened. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Check it out at enclosedworld.com or just Google Flat Earth Clues. If you can't find it, well, you're just not very good at the internet. For those of you listening to this on YouTube and you want to hear the show live as it happens, please go to Truth Frequency Radio for the latest schedule. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And yes, Caroline, if it is not October 15th, 2019, then you are listening to a rerun. Quote of the day goes exactly like this. Even 1,000 loud lies become powerless in front of one calm truth. And I cannot pronounce that. Who did that quote? Sorry. Last name NASCAR. Not like you think. NASKAR. The Mark Sargent 2019 challenge is in effect. This is my personal declaration of war against mainstream science. I, Mark Sargent, hereby put forth a challenge to any university, foreign or domestic, to loan me a self-contained spacesuit, put me in a vacuum chamber, and pull the switch. Find out what happens. For more information, please check out Flat Earth Clues Part 13, The Lost Nail. Announcements. If you haven't already got it, please get the Flat Earth Sun and Moon app from YouTube channel called DITRH, otherwise known as Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, otherwise known as David Weiss. If you haven't checked it out, the Globe Lie UK tour is running around Europe right now, so check that out. Look it up online, and if you would like to donate, and I highly recommend it, please do. We keep the wheels running on that thing. It's a wonderful camper van covered with Flat Earth stickers and banners, and we're going around city to city, and we're spreading the word, planting seeds, blowing minds. For those of you who have not bought my book, which just came out, called Flat Earth Clues, End of the World, and you're thinking about going to the Dallas conference, anyone that goes to the Dallas conference will be receiving an autographed copy for free. There you go. Part of my gift and Robbie Davidson's gift. Prayers go out to Robbie Davidson tonight. He had a death in the family, close family, as a matter of fact. I don't want to get into more detail than that. And so he's going to be under added stress as we move towards the conference in Dallas. So my thoughts are with him there. Anyone that wants to help Dottie get to Dallas, it's actually pretty catchy. You can email her. You guys listen to the show on a regular basis. You know what I'm talking about. Her email address is dotpay1986@gmail.com. That's DOTPAY 1986@gmail.com. And before we bring in Karen B., my last thing I want to mention is kind of a shout out. And that is because I love news tips. And this is from a young but very promising listener named Elena. She sent me a link about Shane Dawson. As you know, Shane Dawson, one of the YouTube titans. And he has teamed up with another YouTube titan called Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star. And they are doing a makeup palette. Doing a whole makeup line. And the reason why Elena mentioned this to us is because, and I'm going to read this, so real quick, it's from Business Insider magazine. Shane Dawson gives fans the first glimpse of his makeup palette with Jeffree Star in the latest episode of his 9-part documentary. She apparently knew about this way in advance. Don't know how, but she did. And it says some of the colors refer to prominent conspiracy theories like, very first one, Flat Earth. How's that for fun? So not only did he do that Flat Earth video that's still paying dividends, I think it's upwards of 28, 29 million hits, but he is also doing a makeup color, literally called Flat Earth. It's kind of like a light pale blue. So thank you, Elena, for that. Much appreciated. And with that, let's bring in the lovely, sometimes sassy, but always lethal Karen B. Hey, Karen, what's going on?
Good evening. Mr.
Hi.
Sargent.
And since we break, tonight we have some special guests, and they're holding on the line right now. But before we get to them, let's pump up because I'm going to be heading your way in a few days. Flattober Festapalooza stock.
Yes.
Give me the 411, Karen.
Okay, Flattober Fest is this Sunday, less than a week away in Greenville, South Carolina. And that's October 20th at a venue called The Firmament. And we have Rob Skiba. And as Mark said, he'll be there. Mark Sargent, Bob Nodell from Globebusters, Joshua Swift from Authentic Intent. Myself, I'll be there hosting the event. We also have 2 Flat Earth bands playing, One Big Love and Twin Serpent. And we also have some other guests that are going to be attending. We're going to have Jake Grant from Now You See TV there with a table full of goodies. Also, I had a visitor this last weekend who's going to be attending, a very creative individual by the name of Watson Atkinson, who was at the very first Raleigh conference. He is an artist, and he will have a table there with some Flat Earth artwork that he'll be handing out. And also another man there who will be handing out old Flat Earth books. I don't know if he's going to be giving them away, maybe selling them, but he reprints old Flat Earth books, Zetetic Cosmology books.
Neat.
So that'll be going on. And we have sold quite a bit of tickets. We've got well over 100 people in attendance so far.
Nice.
And so it's going to be a blast.
Awesome. And with that in mind, I don't know if I told you, but I am having my publisher ship books out. I don't know if it's a rush order. I am hoping they get there by the time the conference starts. I'm shipping a box of each, the first Flat Earth book and the second. So if you guys get there and I don't have any books with me, of course, I'm bringing a signed copy for Zulu because he's not going to make it to Dallas. But I will be handing out cards regardless. But I am trying. I am absolutely trying. I ordered 50 copies of each, and I'm having them shipped directly from Amazon to the conference, directly to you, actually, Karen.
Right.
So crossing my fingers, hope they make it. But okay. If it makes it great. If not, hopefully, you're going to be stuck with some books because I'm not going to be shipping them out of there. So you can flat smack and hand out free copies. That's about all I had on the short list. Other than, did you happen to see the link that I sent you from that chef that all of a sudden broke out into Flat Earth at the end of his thing? A big YouTube channel, 7 million subs.
Yes, I did. I did watch it.
How weird was that? And then then I chopped out a segment and I put it up there for people to listen to, so they didn't have to listen to the whole show. But I get these things sent to me, and this guy was like, "Oh yeah, you should see what he says at the end of the show." And he wanted to thank, says the Earth is flat, and said it multiple times. It's like,
that's
wow.
Right.
It's like right
that's
on,
right.
Totally,
yes.
Yeah, wonderful. So. Thanks to Manny Matheson, the Canadian chef, who apparently is a big internet sensation, and on various podcasts and television shows, and those wacky Canadians. All right, what do you think? Should we bring on our special guest?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. All right, our special guest tonight, and I'm giving them a heads up so you can take your mute buttons off, rookies, is one already did. So earlier in the year, I can't make it out to L.A. as much as I'd like to, and a giant podcast called Jubilee. Right now, they currently have, I think, 3.9 million subs. They said, "Hey, who do you have down in Los Angeles?" Because we were hoping to do like a debate, and I said, "Well, I got some people." So I fired some emails around, and the three people tonight who are going to be Shelley, Wendell, and Dan the Waterman. They sat in a room, and it was shot months ago, and it was actually very professionally done. And the video was just released between the last show. So it came out October 11th, and currently is sitting at, even though it was demoted for a full 24 hours, for whatever reason, it's sitting about 2.7 million hits, and more importantly, talk about generating some buzz, it is at 53,000 comments already, which is huge. I mean, that's a massive amount of comments. I mean, you get all sorts of huge videos that people just don't have can't comment on. And some of these videos have thousands of upticks. Like this one guy says, "Stop body shaming Earth. We all know she's thick." That's funny. But the thing has 15,000 thumbs ups. I mean, that's the metrics are off the charts here. So it was wonderful. So with that, let's bring on Shelley, Wendell, and Dan. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, Mark here.
Thanks for
hey,
having
Karen.
us. Hey, Karen B.
Hello.
It's not her show yet, so you don't have to pay her too much. That's fine. That's fine. She always gets more respect. It's like I get ignored in some cases. But Karen's like, "Yeah, hey, Karen, don't hurt us." Karen inspires both respect and fear. So you guys were out. So when was this shot? And any of you can chime in. When was this filmed?
End of July.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
so a little while ago. Yeah. So what can you kind of give us the rundown of how the whole thing came about? They reached out to I can't remember which one they hit you with first, but what studio they drag you out to, and how much advance notice, and give us kind of the format. You had to show up when and when. Give me the day, how it happened.
Well, they first interviewed different flat earthers to finally select the three that they wanted on the panel. And I asked the director, John, I go, "Do you really know what you're getting yourself into here?" So, because, they really need to do a series on it. And I suggest anyone that goes out to the comments or reach out directly to Jubilee that this is just too big of a topic for, one episode. But so we got it was interesting because it was originally titled Flat Earthers versus Astronauts. But in talking with the casting director, no astronaut wanted to participate. Go figure. I mean, what do you got to be afraid of? So they found some scientists at the very last minute, and we got the call sheet the night before, and we saw two names on it that we were very familiar with, which were James Underdown and Spencer Marks, who we ran into many times down at Salton Sea. So we prepared extensely because Mike Bull had just come out with his debunk video of Nat Geo and IIG's material or video that they had out there. And so we were going to go at it and did during the segment, but all of that ended up on the cutting room floor, of course. Mm-hmm. So, but it was at this place called Electric Pony Studios. It's kind of like in the ghetto. It's like it's a rental facility. It was okay, but compared to where they normally shoot, which is at the Sony YouTube studios, it was just kind of off, and it was not in a very good neighborhood, Mark.
Were you actually worried about leaving your car?
Well, kind of, sort of. We went later for another interview with a magazine at a park that was just down the street. And in talking, it was a nice park, but apparently it had just been refurbished, and it was had the highest homicide rate in the nation or something, because one gang was on one side of the street and one gang was on the other side of the park. So yeah, not too good there, but we were okay. It was during the day. So.
Why couldn't you use the Sony YouTube studios? Were they booked?
I don't know. Normally they said that they do them over there, but sometimes they had to come to this studio. But it was really hot, and they ran the air conditioning in between takes, but it was a scorcher.
Oof. Well, and that probably didn't help for the tempers. That's for sure.
So, I don't know, Shelley. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. It got heated. We got cut off a lot. Just when things started getting really good and we started getting some serious dialogue, John was like, all right, let's reset and cut. And so I was like, oh, man. And anyway, yeah, I agree it was hot. But the format, I love the format.
Do you think the directors were doing that deliberately to make sure nobody walked off set? Was there any point where people were like, I don't want to do this?
I got the feeling that it was because he knew he'd have to start editing, and he was saving himself time. Because it was going to be too jumpy, particularly if they're stepping on each other. You don't know where to run the camera.
Right.
So as soon as it got mixed, he just cut it off. Got it.
What?
Yeah, we tried to get technical a few times, and he. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
We tried to get technical a few times, and he said, "Look, we don't really want to go into the particulars of that. People aren't going to really be able to follow some of this dialogue." So I felt like he wanted more high level, more of not a particular persuasion, but just to keep things interesting, but don't go deep.
Got it. And that makes sense. It's something I've talked about many times, which is, look, the audience knows in fact, I did this when we were doing the street activism when I was yelling at some of the science people, especially when I was off camera. I said, look, the average person on the street knows very little about math or physics or engineering. So if you try to break down the minutia of that, good luck. I mean, you're going to lose the audience really, really quickly. And I think the bigger YouTube channels know that. So that was probably good because it wouldn't necessarily level out the playing field, but it would keep things from getting bogged down, and otherwise people would gloss over.
And yet in the comments, people are complaining that we didn't present data, but we did, and it ended up on the editing room floor. Like when Shelley's talking about the NASA documents that claim flat Earth, non-rotating, stationary atmosphere. I mean, we talked about that, but it cut her off right before she got to the particulars. So now no one knows what NASA documents to go search for, unfortunately.
So,
yeah.
So how long? Just so people know the particulars, because normally it's what you see in on screen is so abbreviated compared to what happens out there. How many hours were you shooting?
3.5, and I would say of that, we probably Flat Earth dominated about 2/3 of that, and then if you want to get kind of a sense of who did the most talking,
right?
We just pretty much owned it. They didn't really have a lot of responses.
Shocking.
Yes. So how did they again, if you believe in coincidences, how did they find Captain Underpants and the other guy so quickly? Sorry, is that not his name? How'd they find how'd they find two of the Salton Sea guys as quick as they did? Or did they just luck out and call up the Skeptic Society?
The only phone number on the internet, their original request for people to come out has always remained posted. The original request from the day when them and Sydney were going out.
Got it. The physicist you guys hadn't run into before. Did you get any take on him?
I thought he was a warm guy. I mean, he went from warm to superheated pretty quick.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that there was something I couldn't figure out exactly what it was, because with editing you don't know for sure, but something really flipped his switch, and he was outraged. It seemed like all of a sudden he was grasping the fact that he was in a room with people that were basically telling him his life's work was meaningless, and yes. I don't think he enjoyed it that much.
Well, he came into it.
He got triggered, right? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, he said, and you saw in the episode where, no, you're not going to change my mind. So, right. I mean, then what are you doing here? If we're trying to find middle ground.
Right.
He was a kind-hearted guy. He was.
Oh, he wasn't that bad?
No, we have his number if we need him. He's fine. He didn't get a word in edgewise. Not a word. He didn't get a word in. I feel sorry for him. Really. I mean, the words he got in were embarrassing, but his actual concept of nothing, he just looked like he was complaining.
He got more heated because Shelley and I were focusing on biblical proofs, and that kind of got under his skin, I guess. So he kept bringing it around.
Bringing it around. Yep.
Yeah.
The production made a unusual choice for the thumbnail to make it look like Shelley was praying.
I probably should bring that up. I didn't notice that until I was about halfway through the video. I just kind of looked around. I was looking at the thumbnails, going, "Oh, that's clever." It was kind of like they were waiting for that shot, because religion. They didn't edit all of the religious aspects out. And but in your opinion, was that portrayal fair? How do you think they spun that?
They set us up. They tried to bring it up first, and we couldn't shake them of the fact that we did science, and they cut out. Those are the two things they cut out were religion and science, surprisingly, because they cut out all the most of the debate about religion, and they cut out a lot of the Salton Sea stuff.
Yeah, I should also ask about that, because it's really, really interesting, because you had Shelley, you weren't at the Salton Sea, right, for that experiment?
Not for that one.
Not for that one.
Subsequent.
The but you weren't there with Underdown, and who's the other guy? The
Spencer.
Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer. So I would imagine you guys went back and forth on that a little bit. Did it come up that all of a, when you were talking to him, I was hoping that you would take a jab in, even though they probably would have cut it out, where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, the National Geographic piece, they removed your first experiment entirely, like it never existed.
I was relentless. I brought it up a dozen times, and I pointed a finger at him. I called him ignorant. They cut all that out. The only thing they did is they left the beginning, where in the beginning. They go, what would you like to get out of this? And I go, man, I'd like to tear these guys to pieces. And they opened up the show with that comment. So it was weird. They set up the religion and the anger. And you got to remember, they were following their own crowd, really. And the crowd request was scientists. So when they couldn't get astronauts and they couldn't get scientists. You know, Underdown begged them not to put scientist as a title. He
really?
Said, oh, yeah. He was very fair. He was very fair, and they were patient. They were nice enough, as cordial as possible, you know. And but the show made Shelley look religious and made them look like scientists. So Hollywood happens anyway,
right?
You know, and it's sort of sad because there's always something, you know, like we're talking about the way TV is and reality shows. There's always something that's a little pre-set up, you know.
Yeah, producers. There's an old saying. There's two sayings when it comes to Hollywood. One is it's before Hollywood. Give the people what they want, and the other one, which I enjoy because it's usually attributed to Mark Twain, is never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Oh. And producers have to know that. It's like, look, we got to make this thing pop, you know, whatever it is to keep the people's interest. You don't want things dragging. You don't want it, if you want to turn it a certain direction here or there. But did you win? And we've got 2 minutes to the first break, and then we're going to go for 3 minutes and we'll come back. But did you feel that in the editing process, they were, because it looked, you know, I listened to the whole thing several times, and I was like, did you feel it was somewhat fair? And I'll each of you, Shelley, you first. Do you think they gave you a fair shake, Jubilee?
I think they did a really good job of editing. Was it totally fair and unbiased? I'm not 100%, but fair.
Fair. All right. Wendell?
I think they did a much better job than how it had been portrayed in the past. But Joshua Michael, Shelley's co-director for The Plain Truth, recently told me, you know, every cut is a lie. So you don't know what happened before. You don't know what happened after.
Right.
And that a lot of the explanations, like when they mischaracterized flat earthers and we re-educated them, all that ended up on the cutting room floor.
Got it.
On the other hand, they bailed me out with graphics where I was talking about the difference between blue marbles, and I sort of scurried right through it, and they fixed it by putting both graphics up. So I would say they were more than fair to me.
Yeah, they didn't have to put in graphics. I mean, think about it. Neil deGrasse Tyson, when he did his big thing on Comedy Central, didn't put up a single graphic or video or anything. It was like stunning. It was like, really? You think you're just going to have him wing it with a microphone? You know, the other than the crowd coaching, I guarantee he lost 90% of the people that were listening to it. I mean, no offense to the Comedy Central crowd, but, you know, they're not exactly rocket surgeons. So, all right. Well, hey, will you guys hang with us for another segment?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
We are going away, and then we're coming back, and so get some snacks or whatever. And we'll be Karen and me. Well, I mean, come on, it's the Karen B Show. I'll call it what it is. Karen B Show, and the guests for her show are Wendell, Shelley, and Dan the Waterman from Los Angeles. And why isn't the music playing? Come on. There we go. There's Hollywood for you.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 2 of 4. It's special guest night. Before that, we listened to everything the Beatles ever wrote. We did not listen to all of Hey Jude. And then we had the Taylor Swift Hour of Power. But just then, yes, it was Joe Jackson stepping out from his album, Night and Day. also want to mention, this came in during the break, is that I left out something, and that was the young woman who gave us the Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star tip. Her full name is Elena Walter, and you can Twitter her. What's her? It's at, I don't use Twitter, so hopefully I'm doing this right. It's at ALAYNA_Walter. So there you go. I'm pretty sure she's over 18, so it's totally legal to contact her. And I think that's it. And other people are typing me. And you know what? Let's bring in our guests. So, Wendell, Dan, and of course, Shelley. Hey, are you still there?
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
Shelley is having way too good a time. Hopefully she's drinking, which is what most people do during my interviews. So we're talking about the video Flat Earthers versus Scientists. Can we trust science? Which is at 2.7 million hits since the 11th, which is amazing. 53,000 comments, and of course you were going up against scientists. You were going up against Underdown and Spencer, and then the physicist. What university was he from? Do you remember?
Oh, he taught at Irvine. I'm not sure where he graduated. Yeah, I'm not sure where he graduated.
Associate professor of physics at Cal State Irvine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever told you the story. When I was doing that debate against Jeff Swearink on the Fallen State show down in Los Angeles, they were calling around, kind of like what Jubilee was doing. They were calling around all the universities, and they ran into an Asian professor, physicist out of USC. And they said, "Oh yeah, would you like to come on and talk about flat Earth?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, you'll be going against Mark Sargent." And he goes, "What do you mean against?" He goes, "I'm for flat Earth." They were absolutely. He was absolutely. It's like, "No, we can't use you. We need to have you against." It's like, "Oh, can I come on the show at a different segment to talk about flat Earth?" And I was like, "Oh, you didn't get his name, did you?" He goes, "No, sorry, we didn't. I didn't have it in front of me." It's like, damn it. But yeah, we've got members out there. Of course, he's not going to cross that sort of line anytime soon because his career would be over. Anyway, so tell me about. Let's talk, because Paul asked me this during the break. He goes, I want to know more about what was left on the cutting room floor. So each of you think about what you said, or if somebody else said that you were hoping that you were waiting to see it in the video, but you didn't see it. Let's start with Wendell.
Before I get into that, let me give you a little bit more background. So okay. I was helping the casting director. I actually tried to find scientists. And I had a contact over at JPL. I told her, look, go call SpaceX. Nobody wanted to do it, which was interesting. Yeah. There was also a couple of firsts for Jubilee. Number one, it was their first premiere. So it was, the chat was up, hours before it actually came on live. And actually, Karen B, you jumped into the chat. So much appreciate that. And Mark, you were there for a while. Yeah. Dave Weiss was in there. But it was just trying to kind of answer some of these questions that people were having about it before it actually premiered. So, and that was good. But it was the longest episode that Jubilee's ever had. Most of their episodes are about 15 minutes, and this ended up being about 35.
Nice. Nice. And you're absolutely right. Premiere is one of those, relatively new YouTube things where you make your video. And what they did is they gave people the ability to jump into their own chat while effortlessly, while the video is running. And this thing was, how many, what did the stream cap out as far as live viewers?
There were, I saw up to, it was like 500 people were waiting to watch the premiere. And then it jumped up to 1,000 and more right before. But, we're talking 8 hours before the premiere. 500 people are in there.
Oh, wow.
And then
there was 27,000 people in there while the premiere was going. Yeah. I saw 27K. Wow. And the chat was almost impossible to read. It was going so fast.
Yeah. And I think it was probably, was slow mode even, was it on or not on? I thought it was on and it was still hard to watch.
I don't know if there was slow mode on or not. I couldn't even tell.
It was a freaking, well, you can imagine. Yeah. If you have 20, 25, 30,000 people in a live stream, it's just a blur. I mean, chat almost becomes useless. Anyway, continue, Wendell.
Oh, so stuff that I thought that might make it, but ended up on the cutting room floor. More of the, trying to counter arguments from the flat Earth side. So, like you saw early on, like Jim Underdown, he starts to go into this like a humanistic, atheistic viewpoint, and we, Shelley and I just debunked all that. When they're saying like, hey, the Bible's full of errors and all, it's like, look, you got to scratch the surface of some of those arguments, and the logical arguments as well. When we talked about logical fallacies, not a lot of that made it in there, so it was a little disappointing. But when the premiere came out, it was blatantly obvious that they pulled the same thing on us than they did on you, Mark, in Behind the Curve. So here they had interviewed you, started out real well, showed the flat Earth model, and then bam, they show all these NASA clips, and that's how they started out this. So that was, a little slanted to start out with this evidence that you can't really address. We didn't, when we addressed that somewhat, and that part did make it when Shelley was talking about the Earthrise and how that the photo was manipulated, was cut and paste, and we went more in depth on those kind of things. But it was just like Shelley was saying, very high level, didn't get down into the weeds at all. But that's where you really need to go and look at the data points that drive people to flat Earth.
Nice, awesome. Dan, how about you?
I think they did more to include me than cut me out.
Were you not doing the most of the bulk of the talking?
No, it's just that I describe it like this. We kind of came in like a Linkin Park song. Like Wendell comes in and he sort of sets a beat, and then Shelley comes in and adds like melody and color, and then I just start going.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So you brought the emotion to the table, and you must have been the toughest one to keep in your chair, because I know you wanted to leap across. You're an emotional guy anyway, and so you wanted to throttle them on a regular basis.
It showed they had to cut it up just to keep that from showing. They went out of their way to make me look composed, because I don't know, guys. What do you think? What do you think of that?
Well, it didn't help. You're always
I agree.
Underdown.
Underdown.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's good. And we'll get to how I think they portrayed you. Anything else before we go to Shelley on that, Dan?
No. I thought they were. I thought they kicked ass. We kicked ass for them because they're used to having to stir the pot, and we come stirred. Plus, we came with lots of stuff to say that wasn't really opinionated. Yeah. So it gave them lots of things to fire back. I mean, the audience sat there like they were watching a prize fight. Nice. The audience, it had nothing to do with the subject. They were just watching a battle as far as they were concerned.
Hey, sorry, I'm reading the Peanut Gallery. What did you think of the interesting format where they put you under spotlights and they say, okay, the people that believe in this come up here, and people who believe in this, and what'd you think of that whole layout?
I've seen them do it differently, where it's set up towards the middle and towards the outside, like a football field. 50. Everyone starts on the 50, and they move towards positive and negative. Yeah. So they tried to portray it differently, but it's eerie. It has a bit of a real feel to it, because you get put on the spot whether or not you feel like coming out of the spotlight on this, or into the main light. So I thought it was overall pretty effective use of low dollars on the set.
Yeah. In fact, my only criticism as far as production goes was that I was really surprised, was that the maybe they did it deliberately, was the director, the person that was asking you questions from the distance. He sounded distant, and I was thinking, what, he wasn't mic'd up? Because it's like there were sometimes like I really couldn't hear him. very well. It was almost they almost had to put if they didn't already, had to put like extra subtitles on that guy's voice. But yeah, I suppose. Anyway,
they did in some cases. They did. Otherwise, he was acting as director, and they showed our backs. They showed the help coming up, bringing water. They were very honest in how it was portrayed. You know?
Good.
Yeah, they
That's
kicked
good.
ass. They kicked ass.
Shelley, what was your impression? What do you think might have been left out? What if you had to change it a bit, lean it in our favor? What would you have done?
Well, I think, Dan, you heard one of the clips where he says, well, she showed you the physics behind what she's talking about with the curvature. So we went into the physics of that with the equation of 8 inches per mile squared. And so you didn't really hear that. All you kind of heard was just, we see too far, and I can see it from the beach, where I look a little airheaded, I felt. But, a lot of things were left on the cutting room floor, including Aries failure. We went into that. We talked about gravity. We talked about assumptions. We talked about Michelson-Morley. And one of the things, and you'll see in one of the clips where I said, that's fallacy. That's a logical fallacy. Or I said, that's, it's not logical. It was one of the questions was, well, what about all the other planets that are round, and why are they round? And I really wanted to go into that because that was such an easy one to just pick apart. And I said that's completely illogical or something like that. And that's what I was referring to when I said that. And then another thing that they left out was when we talk about, well, how many people would have to be in on it? And I talked specifically about CA document 1035-960. Something that was put out during the whole JFK. They came out with the Warren report, the CIA did, and they said, here's how we're going to weaponize the term conspiracy. We're going to call them conspiracy theorists. When they start talking about things, you just say, well, how many people would have to be in on it? And I specifically addressed that, and I said, you guys are completely parroting the narrative of what they want you to say.
Right.
And so I said, the general doesn't know. I mean, the private does not know what the general is doing. And so therefore not a lot of people have to be in on it if you look at the Manhattan Project. So we brought a lot of that to the table, and at some point it just kind of got to be too minutia for them, I think.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And you're absolutely right about the conspiracy thing. As a matter of fact, I think the media is having a tough time with it. The media rarely will use the word conspiracy outside of the tinfoil hat genre. Even though I've been fond of saying recently that we all deal with conspiracies, but when mainstream media portrays it, they don't use the word conspiracy when it's something real. So, like, they'll either use the word illusion, but normally they'll use scandal or tragedy. So, like Enron, we all know that was a monstrous conspiracy, but they didn't call it the Enron conspiracy. They called it the Enron scandal. Or other scandals. But if somebody dies and it's a conspiracy, they will call it whatever is, a tragedy, something tragedy. And which is interesting because you can, in the court system, you can not get convicted of either of those things. You're not going to get convicted of scandal or tragedy, but you will get convicted of conspiracy, which real quick, and that is if Shelley, for example, decided to rob a bank, because, that's one of the things she's into, then she would be convicted of armed robbery. But if the three of you conspired together to rob a bank, you would get hit twice. A lot of people don't know this. You get hit for armed robbery and conspiracy to commit armed robbery because you conspired together to do the deed. And I had to find this out the hard way because, I was charged with conspiracy to manufacture and distribute explosives to grade schools, and I thought that was a little harsh. But no,
wow.
No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
no, the grade school part was absolutely false. I was kidding. But but manufacturing and distributing explosives without a license is absolutely a real thing, and all it is just a mirror of whatever charge you're in. So because it comes with a whole nother series of penalties. Because not only did you do it, but you and a whole bunch of people planned way in advance to do it. So we're going to hit you twice. So, but again, the media doesn't use the word conspiracy when they talk about these things. There's conspiracies that happen every year, in business and politics and sports and entertainment, and yes, even journalism and science. and but they won't use the word. And so they have a tough time. But yeah, what you guys were saying, they've tried to make conspiracy a dirty word, but it's really, really tough. I think mostly because of the legal system, because a long time conspiracy has been in the legal system for a lot longer. So it's this weird contradiction, in my opinion. Anyway, also want to mention, I don't know if all three of you noticed it. I tried to let you guys know. Did you notice, again, how fast it was? So you guys, literally, you should be the top of the charts right now. If you type in Flat Earth into YouTube and you don't hit any filters, you should be the top of the charts right now, because you're gonna hit 3 million hits here probably by the end of tomorrow. But you're not. You're down quite a ways, as a matter of fact. Are you even in the top 20?
Not that I can see.
Yeah. And yet, and yet the New Zealand piece, I don't know if you guys caught that was done by Guy Williams down in New Zealand. I mean, his channel's pretty good, but it's not very great. It's not great. It doesn't even have 200,000 hits. That is actually tracking better than yours, because it's a blatant attack against Flat Earth in a comedy setting. It's basically might as well be a Comedy Central routine. So again, it's not censorship, but man, the referees are definitely leaning the other side of the field.
They warned us. They warned us they were going to do it.
Who? YouTube?
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, they did.
This is it. It's soft. I mean, you're the one that always says stuff like that. It's soft, whatever.
It's soft, but at the same time, this one even struck me, because normally what they do is they leave it up for a couple days, and then they'll take it down. You'll go from number one to number 6 to number 10 to number 20, and literally within the first 7 hours, it went from number 1 to, I think, number 30, just like that. And I'm going, really? Because it's getting a lot of hits, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it, because it's getting a lot of hits. It was too hot for them. And so they stalled it for about 24 hours, and then they kind of put it back in the rotation. And if you sort by the week, it's still up there. But still, the media exposure is monstrous. So congratulations to all you guys for doing this. It was just, I mean, it turned out better. And I didn't even realize, by the way, when I sent them your way, that Jubilee was as big as they were. Where are they based out of? Are they an LA group, or are they outside the country?
LA. Yeah,
they're just an LA group.
They're down by the LAX is where their offices are.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, okay. Well, sorry. Before I forget, there's 2 more things I want to bring up, and then I don't think we'll take calls. Are you guys up for listening to a few calls for the next segment, or not?
Sure.
Cool. 2 things. Did you guys do while you were setting up for this thing? Was it the one that was shot out at the park? Was done for a foreign channel?
That was a magazine. That was for print.
But what was that?
That was for print. What was the name of that magazine again?
Shelley. Wendell?
Wasn't it a Swiss? It was a French or, yeah.
It was an Italian magazine, right?
Yeah, Italian.
That's printed in English. It was kind of weird.
So did it ever get published?
We haven't checked.
Were they going to send you a copy?
We got some nice pictures. We had some very nice pictures in the park.
I think I remember, because you guys were sitting at like a picnic table or something, right?
They were nice.
Well, all right. Yeah. Now I'm going to have to look for it. I'm going to have to look up in Italian where this thing might be. Oh, and you sent me, by the way, I should mention, thank you, Dan, for sending me the link. Please do, and we'll get into Shelley's podcast here in a second. Tell the people about the French video segment, which you could put on people. I'm going to mirror it on my channel eventually. Was that, I caught, it seemed to be a little bit of an echo. Can you tell me a little bit about that segment?
Yeah, that's me not knowing my OBS.
That's all right. I'm not picking.
And that's, I don't know where I picked it up, but I'm sure it's somewhere else. And I got the soft strikes on it. It just says I can't use it in those countries that speak that language. So it's usable. And if you translate it to, if you use, what do they call it? Where you bring up the
closed caption?
Auto translate.
Yeah, and then hit auto translate. It'll translate. It's hysterical, but you do get more of the vibe. It's pretty negative. The story was that they came out to do an absolute expose on what's going on. They spent a week and a half here. They were cordial, and the culmination was us skipping out to the Salton Sea one more time to show a TV crew what we can see out there, and it was a crummy day. And they spent 9-10 hours out there, and what was it, Wendell, maybe 4 o'clock, maybe 5, it finally cleared up, and we were able to get something done. And these poor guys fried out there doing nothing. And I really felt sorry for them, and it was kind of a glorious moment. Wendell had fabricated a 4-mirror array that he calls the mega mirror. And when that thing lit up, it looked like a star sitting on the edge. It was beautiful. Nice. And it's really something to see. We also got infrared at 9.6 miles, completely disproving all the balloon fallacies of what you cannot see. Every car is parked, every wheel, every tire, every picnic bench you can see with the infrared at that distance. So too bad we didn't have that at the time to blow the whole thing out. But maybe, it all has its purpose.
Yeah, everything for a reason. I believe that, Flat Earth has been, the march has been steady and filled with, some wonderful moments. And, the ones this year has been no different. We've been on tour, which is just amazing. And the video that, pieces like this sometimes don't even get released. And so it was great to see it come out. And again, they had a lot. They knew when a team this big, as far as Jubilee goes, because they're a big YouTube channel, when they do the metrics and they decide, okay, not only are we going to make it our first premiere ever, which was amazing, and the stream count was massive, and it proved that out. But then here's the part I loved, and we have a little time. Maybe we'll go through the break and pick it up on the other side as well, which is they enjoyed the topic enough and thought it was interesting enough that they decide to single out you, Shelley, and actually do their very first podcast on Flat Earth with no dissenting voices. So how did they approach you on that?
That was interesting. I didn't know it was their very first one. John came up to me after the debate, if you will, the discussion, and he said, "Hey, would you be interested in coming back down to the studios and talking to us a little bit more about your story? I'd like to record it if that's possible." And I was like, absolutely. So he called me about a week later, and I went down there, and just he was so friendly. I have to say, he's a really great guy, has a very big heart, and just very sincere. Even though he doesn't agree with Flat Earth, he was sincere enough to want to know more and just more of the backstory. And so I thought it was favorable, and I thought they did a nice job editing it. And I reached out to him after, they aired the episode as well as the YouTube, and I just thanked him for the time and giving us a chance to share our side of the story. And he said, "Yeah, we'd like to, check back with you in a couple months." So it's something I think we'll have an ongoing relationship with them. And of course I think it was Kendall, if that was her, or Kendra. I can't remember exactly, but Kendra. She was very sweet and just big hugs, and thanks so much for coming down. They were just really, really genuinely nice.
Awesome. That's great. And so even though they aired pushing, how long that segment? Was it 30 something minutes or was it an hour? No, it was 30 something minutes. Yeah. Did you guys talk a lot outside of that time?
Yeah. Not really. It was just, I guess so, right? You mean on the podcast or the
just on the podcast.
Oh, sorry. On the podcast. No, not really. Just kind of formalities and where do you live, a little bit of the back history. And he wanted to verify some of the, when I was married, what my husband's name was, just to verify some of the facts. But not really. It was just kind of, thanks for coming down, and we'll be sure to let you know when this airs. And when they say something like that, you have no idea how it's going to turn out. But
right.
It was good.
Yeah, I thought I thought you absolutely nailed it. And again, how it was amazing, because doing the premiere podcast of their however long they're going to do podcasts, that's something. I mean, when they have enough faith in a topic that's what you're going to start with, and they chose to do it not in a debate format. I mean, they could have brought Underdown in or Spencer right back and done a back and forth, but they didn't want to. They wanted Flat Earth to have the last word, and I thought that was awesome. I thought that was just so wonderful. So we are going to our second break, and when we come back, we're going to pick up a few calls. If you guys have any questions, any details you want to know from Wendell or Dan or Shelley, by all means, it's 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. Operators are standing by, and by that I mean me. So be nice, because remember, no matter where you go, there you are. I heard that, Karen.
What?
It's one of the things. It's one of my lines. It's from Buckaroo Banzai. It's a movie quote. Whatever. Don't judge me. Back in 3.
His face is in the muck. I think his zipper's stuck.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Major Kong. Major Kong. Primary target the ICBM complex at Laputa. Switch all receiver circuits to CRM discriminators. What's cooking on the threat board? Nothing. Alright, tell you what you better do, old buddy. You better give Elmo and Charlie a flash, man. Bump everything up to condition red and stand by the floor on your head. Major Kong. Major Kong. Hey, what about Major Kong?
Clear and plain and coming through fine.
What about
It's great to be fine.
What about Major Kong? What's happened? You see the string in my legs, Kong. What about Major Kong? I never told you. Hey, what about Major Kong?
Welcome back to Strange World, part 3 of 4. It is special guest night. And no, I'm not talking about Karen, because it's her show. So she's not a special guest. But I am talking about... By the way, how's it going, Karen?
It's great. I'm glad you know your place, Mark.
You realize I'm saying that because you're my ride from the airport this weekend.
That's right. That's right. You're under my care and supervision this weekend.
Pretty much. I am worried. I'm so concerned. For those of you who don't remember, I am going to a Flatoberfest, a Palooza stock in South Carolina. In fact, I'm flying into Charlotte on Friday, I believe, Friday evening. Right. And we're doing our thing. So what are we doing Saturday? Just anything? We don't know what we're doing Saturday. Probably prepping for the thing, right? I'm helping with all that.
I guess so. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing Saturday.
All right. Probably resting up.
Probably having a pre show party.
Right on. I am all about that. Although I can't party too hard because I am doing the intro to the conference.
You are?
Yeah. Well.
But that starts after like noon, so it's okay.
Oh, the conference doesn't start in the morning. It starts after lunch.
Right. It starts it's like noon to midnight. It's a later part of the day because it's at a club venue. Yeah.
Got it. Right on. Well, good. Then I will partake of the partying on Saturday, which will be fun. No, we're renting a giant Airbnb house, and it's going to be a blast. All right. So let's see here. Phone lines, by the way, are 213-233-3998. That is 213-233-3998. Our guests tonight, and you can talk to anybody. If you don't want to talk to me, you can always talk to Karen, because Lord knows everybody wants to talk to Karen. But we also have Shelley and Wendell and Dan out of Los Angeles. And if you don't know why they're here, you really got to watch the video called Flat Earthers versus Scientists. Even the title kind of works for us. Flat Earthers versus Scientists. Can we trust science? I like it. I'll totally take it. It's got 2.7. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, my 16-year-old son who lives with his dad in California actually sent me a text with a link to that video. So he saw it before I could even send it to him. So I thought that was cool. My son never sends me flat Earth stuff.
There it is coming back at you.
It's got 2
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, it's going to generate some discussion, that's for sure. 2.7 million hits right now, 53,000 comments. And as you can imagine, they're not all puppies and kittens in that comment section. It is brutal.
It's
and
very
of course,
brutal.
It's
Totally brutal.
Yeah, it is ugly in there. It is a dumpster fire with jet fuel. And then also, you should notice the first thing in the description. One more shout out to Shelley. They announced that we started a podcast. Listen to a follow up conversation with one of the flat earthers in our first episode at Anchor FM /Radical Empathy. So, but it's all over the place, so you guys can check it out. Click on the link and you'll get there. It's very, very cool. So, let's pick up a phone call, shall we? See what's happening. Let's grab 304 first. 304, you're on with Karen and Mark and a bunch of other people. What's happening?
Good evening. I got a couple questions. Let me rack them out before I have a brain fart. Shelley, Dan, and Wendell, did you guys have butterflies when you were interviewed? And then Karen B, show Mark the Bigfoot when he's down there visiting you on Saturday. Make him a believer. He doesn't believe. Also, Master Gunner, I haven't heard you call in a while. Do you know any halo jumpers? People who've done skydive from 15,000 to 35,000 feet and seen what they've seen at altitude, crabs, butterflies. Also, what is it? What is the other thing? Mark Sargent, do you believe in the Great White Hope? All right, I will mute myself. See you guys.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, first off, I will remember what I can. So, Wendell, Dan, and Shelley, were you, and you guys have all done stuff before. I mean, for God's sakes, all of you have done street activism. Were you nervous at all doing this?
I can chime in on that. I'll tell you that we didn't have enough time between, we had less than a week and our schedules are tight. So we didn't really have time to get nervous prior. But I was super nervous when it aired for some reason. And now I know why, because it was kind of a big deal. But I was really unusually nervous when it was airing.
Got it. Wendell?
I didn't know who Jubilee Media was. And when I mentioned it to my 16-year-old daughter, she was like, "Oh my God, Jubilee Media, are you serious?" So I got a little bit more nervous then. And during it, I started out being a little nervous. But when you get into, like when I got into it with Ali on Mickelson morally and whether it proved ether or not, which didn't make the show, you just kind of try to focus on the arguments and get it out. So it calmed down pretty quickly.
Cool. Shelley?
Yeah, it's funny because my 16-year-old daughter said the same thing. She was so excited. Oh, wow, Jubilee. Like I had done something really fantastic in her eyes. But I wasn't really nervous and like Dan until I knew when it was coming out, because I didn't know which way they were going to go with it. They could have taken this so many different directions. And one of the things, with Ali, I think he got so triggered and he kept wanting to talk about religion and kept bringing it back up that I didn't want it to be about, just about that. That was frustrating to me. And then when I saw the picture, I thought, oh God, this is not good. They're going to have me as the Virgin Mary praying psychopathic. And it bothered me thinking, and when I was talking, I was trying to remember and go back. Oh, I think I remember when I had my hands together, and I was trying to remember, how could I freaking have my hands together like that? It bothered me to think that I was in control of that pose. Like, where did that come from? And then when they bring it out with gravity, it felt kind of disjointed, because we were talking about assumptions and how science makes assumptions, and then the NASA documents where they assume a flat Earth, and so we got into gravity. So I don't want to go on a soapbox, but I was nervous like Dan when I saw that picture.
Huh. Awesome.
I got kind of nervous too when we went. Actually, Dan and I saw it together, and then Shelley joined us later. And we had lunch and we started laughing over the comments, but they just pick apart everything that you say, every misstep. So for me, it was, I said, hey, you need to take the Bible literally, but then you need to take everything with a grain of salt. But you didn't get a chance to hear me explain the reasons why. But there's a few things that I found out. Like they called Shelley a Karen, and they weren't referring to Karen P.
I didn't know what that meant.
I didn't know what it meant either. I had to ask my daughter. Yeah.
Karen.
No, what's a Karen?
Dan is.
Oh, because Karen's a meme now. My name has become a meme. You didn't know that? Oh my God, it's like the worst thing to ever happen to me.
What are they referring to?
It's from
I
a
don't
movie
even
called,
know how it started.
It's a movie called Mean Girls in 2004, and Karen Smith is the ditzy blonde, and they could always count on her to be so. So it became a Karen move. You know?
Oh, and I'm a big. That's one of my guilty pleasure movies. Is Mean Girls. I know it very well, but I didn't memorize the character names. I get it.
Yeah.
I thought it was something else because people are always saying, Karen took the kids, and Karen, do you want to talk to a manager? And
right, with the haircut and stuff, with a bad haircut. And yeah, Wendell told me that one. But yeah, I think the genesis of it does stem from that. And they were saying, oh, great, these are going to be a bunch of Karens. And then I guess they had an episode with vegan versus the meat eaters. And there was a girl on there who would say, well, that's not vegan. And that kind of became the new meme for, well, that's a fallacy or gravity. So they're kind of pulling things out and making memes about it. Interesting.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Tell you what, let's grab. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. There was one more question that Nathan Fowler had, which was, do I believe in the Great White Hope? That was from the Fallen State interview, which I did down in Los Angeles, and Patricia and Robbie Davidson were in the audience, and he apparently it's one of those questions he asks everybody. And he's going, "Do you love the Great White Hope? Do you love the Great White Hope?" And I'm staring at him like he asked me an algebra question, and I'm going, "What the hell are you talking about, man?" And he wouldn't give me any hints for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe he thought I was playing dumb or whatever. But he said, finally somebody said, do you guys know, I'll ask, Karen probably knows. Do you guys know who the Great White Hope is?
No.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, apparently it's Donald Trump.
Oh, I thought it was you.
And so he was asking me, do I love Donald Trump? But the way he was asking, I'm going, I don't. And he just kept asking me over and over. And I finally said, who the hell are you talking about, man? Because it's the same kind of like a meme. Like I didn't know that Karen was a meme, and I also didn't know, for example, I didn't know how big Jubilee was when they first contacted me, and I certainly didn't know. Well, obviously I didn't know who they were because they skew apparently much younger. They're that young high school demographic. So you want the big takeaway from that. that is a wonderful video for young high school kids. Because they can look at that and the scientists, I think, will annoy them more than anything because they just won't understand it, which is why also they were trying to keep you guys from going too far down into the minutia of, physics and mathematics because the high school the kids, their demographics wouldn't have known what to do with it. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Just my take. All right, let's grab a few phone calls. We got time. Let's do 281. 281, you're on the Karen B Show with special guests Shelley and Dan and Wendell. What's happening?
You already know who it is. What it is, Mark Sarge.
Hey,
coming from that north
what's
side
up in H-Town?
Oh, man, I'm chilling like a villain, man. I've been listening to you guys, man, jamming Genesis greatest hits on that song tonight on repeat, full of these ate a half a bag of CBD gummies or whatever. So I'm just like pain and anxiety are nowhere near me right now, man. It's like I'm in a movie starring me, directed by me, So shout out to everybody. No, for real. I'm serious. I just and one of my homegirls just left. Like, I guess I was too boring for her, but she's fine as frog's head, but just got the IQ of a freaking goldfish. So I really wasn't tripping. I wanted to holler my rounds, man. I'm flat earth. So, it is what it is. Straight up. But yeah, couple quick questions. Sorry, what's going on with this Space Force, man? How do you think this is going to play out? Because the bullshit is getting thicker and thicker.
Space Force is just a political prop right now. Because the problem with Space Force, and Shelley can attest to this. She was a graduate of West Point. That is the four major armed forces. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and you can throw Coast Guard in there, I guess. They just fight tooth and nail for recruiting, and you just can't bring in a fifth group of the armed forces like that, because it would be so new and high tech that no one would apply for anything else. Well, I mean, the Navy would get a certain demographic. We won't get into that. All God's children, I'm not judging, but everybody else would go straight to freaking Space Force. I mean, literally, why? I mean,
I know, right?
The two big movies out there that I can relate to, one Starship Troopers and the other Aliens, everyone would want to do freaking Space Force. No one would do anything else. So the other branches of the military, which I don't know have been established since America was founded, they wouldn't even let it happen. I mean, you'd have the Joint Chief of Staffs. You'd have to add a whole new member selection for the Joint Chief of Staffs. It wouldn't work. It's a prop. There's nothing. It's just freaking hype. It's for me, it's the same as the Mars mission, the Orion program. Them saying that they're going to go back, they're going to send manned people back to the moon in 2024, and the whole 9 yards. So no.
Yeah. Because I'm just waiting on something. I'm just waiting on something else to happen. This media stuff is almost just like, say entertainment or whatever. Like, what's next? I mean, what's going to happen when these power grids go out? Now, don't they have like 3 power grids here in the United States, East Coast, West Coast? I know Texas has its own.
Yeah, I keep hearing whispers, not to get into it too much, but next year, 2020 is going to be a weird one, because you can remember whatever's big enough. And I'm not saying the general public is dumb and are mouth-breathing troglodytes, but I am saying that they're not very, they're entertainment media based. And so 2020, if you were going to do something, if I was a producer, if I was like an Illuminati producer, 2020 would be my year, because it's too obvious. And that is 2020, perfect vision, clarity, that whole thing. That would be the big reveal for me. So if anyone's looking for some big stuff, yeah. And by the way, if the only thing I'm a little leery about when people say, "Oh, the power grid's going to come out," and that's something I've always said, which is the end will be televised. And if it's going to be televised, well, you got to keep the power grid up for as long as possible. But that's just me. Anyway, anything else?
No, that's pretty much it, man. I'm going to let y'all hang. Shout out to you, KMB, everybody else listening. Shout out to that awesome person like myself, obviously, because I'm kind of awesome. And shout out to that girl who just left, because I really don't care, So like I said, I'm a player. I run through them like Troy Aikman handoffs, and I'm out. Peace.
Oh, my God. Oh. All right, man. Hey, have a good one in H-Town. Don't be a stranger.
I won't. Peace.
All right, see ya. I love this show's listeners. I do.
Hey, Mark,
yeah.
If you see 425, can you pick that up next, please?
I can pick up 425. Hang on one second. There's 425. Hang on one second. 425. Oh, wait. Hello, and welcome to Verizon Wireless. How may I help you?
G'day, Mark. Karen. Ted over, and now I'm over in where you were filming your commercial over in Australia.
Hey, Ted.
Nice.
Hey.
How's it going in the land of Oz?
Oh God, it's beautiful. It's like beautiful blue sky, no chemtrails. A lot of people driving on the wrong side of the road. It's great.
Seriously. Oh, wait. You're actually, where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Gold Coast, Australia.
Oh, man. Okay. So I've got to ask, and I know you probably, I don't know, where are you in terms of civilization, but have you seen, because I'm comparing my commercial to the whole so easy a caveman can do it Geico thing. Have you seen me on any buses or billboards or airports?
I have not.
Damn it! All right.
And I even was like but I was trying to like write down like trying to document like my flight from San Francisco to Auckland, and then from Auckland to Gold Coast, like seeing where everything is and lines up. But from what I tell, my entire flight from San Francisco to Auckland is a straight 220 degrees.
Ah.
And then Auckland to Gold Coast is about 270, 280. No, my bad. Yeah, but I forgot. It's not realm.
Got it. No, I hear you.
It's kind of funny.
So how long you down there? Out there?
12 days.
Oh, cool.
Out there, yeah, 12 days.
Awesome. That's fun.
So I can make up for the lack of summer we had in Washington.
Well, it's pretty nice now. I mean, it's not actually too bad. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. The summer wasn't great, but October again. You know, I've told people climate change may be a myth, but I was getting a tan here last Halloween, and when I was growing up, seriously, if you grew up in Washington, you know what I'm talking about. Halloween is just wind and rain.
Oh yeah.
You don't even want to go trick or treating.
Yep.
I mean, it's like freaking.
Oh, I know. My birthday's normally.
Yeah. I mean, it's like real haunted house weather out there.
It's like,
So he's down
sometimes
there
you don't
for a
want to go
little
trick or
while
treating because it's
longer.
raining.
He still has time to find you on a bus there, Mark.
Well, I know it's. I mean, no. People.
If
already
I
said
do,
they've
I'll
seen
take
me on
pictures
buses.
and send it to Karen.
Yeah,
There you
because
go.
if I get any of the still shots, I should probably just write the advertising company and ask them, because I really want to splice it in with the so easy a caveman could do it, because that's what it's just going to remind me of basically forever. I'm going to be walking in an airport. I'm going to walk right by it and turn around and be like, oh god, because they took, I think, about 400 still shots of me, and and then looked down like their camera was broken, and I got sad. All right, anything else before I?
That's it. Keep up good work. Shout out to all you guys and good old Dave McLeod. And yeah, guess I'll just be waiting to see y'all guys at FBIT this year.
Right on, man.
All right, later.
All right, have a good one.
See you later.
All right, did I click the button? Click, click, click. Oh no, he hung up at the same time. All right, let's jump over to. Oh, here's one. Let's jump over to this one. Looks like it could be a foreign country, Canada. I've heard of it. Canada 418. You're on with Karen B and Mark and Wendell and Dan and some other girl. What's happening?
Oh, my name is Danielle. Is it the Flat Earth Anonymous line?
No, this is the Flat Earth.
I'm addicted.
This is the Flat Earth. This is the Flat Earth Tinder line. What are you wearing?
I'm addicted. I just have one question tonight.
Yeah. Cool.
Karen, what is the color of your eyes?
I'm sorry?
Is that last part?
What is the color of your eyes?
Oh.
My eyes are brown.
Oh, good. Thanks so much.
They will stare right through your soul, man. I've seen it. She can burn a hole in paper with those eyes. What?
I'm not cruising, by the way, Mark.
You're not
Thank
cruising?
You. No.
Nice. Wait a minute. Straight people can still cruise. I thought it was more of a gay thing. It doesn't really matter. All God's children. Oh, what else you got?
I love you guys. Have a good night. That's it. That was my question for the night. Yeah.
All right. Fine. We will say goodbye to.
Hey, have a good night.
Yep.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Au revoir, Canada. All right, so let's do one more before the break, and then we'll pick up 845 on the other side. So let's do 502. 502, you're on the Wendell, Dan, and Shelley show. Special guest Karen. What's happening?
Hello, Karen.
Hi.
A friend of mine just asked me to ask you what size shirt you wear.
What size shirt I wear?
Because Mark Sargent is my baby daddy.
Nice.
That would be a medium.
Buy 3.
Okay, good.
Get one free.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I am somewhat nervous about this particular meme that might be created, and that is Mark Sargent as my baby daddy with me with the neon glasses from the movie poster. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty scary. But
Hey, you said it was kind of growing on you, and
it is kind of growing on me.
So.
It is kind of growing on me. At the same time, I'm not exactly sure what the reception will be, but I'll wear one.
I hear Karen wants to wear it, so.
Ooh, yeah.
You never know. That could be awkward.
Well, Karen and I will be cementing our relationship down in South Carolina this weekend, because rumor has it I may actually have to share a room with her at this Airbnb. Yep.
Uh-oh.
I know.
That could really start some rumors.
Oh yeah, no. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get ahead of the whole Me Too thing, and I'm going to start rumors. If nothing happens.
Oh my god.
And it probably.
Mark's always starting rumors about.
I do.
That's a good way to stop some people in their tracks. I don't even know what to say to that one.
Well, Mark,
you guys are great.
Mark, you'll need one of those big things that they use to get all the air bubbles out. With the vibrating thing. When they're cementing something in.
Nice. I know.
There are so many directions of conversation to take.
No, all right. Let's clean it up. All right. This is not necessarily a family show, but still. No. I'm excited. No, look. People have done memes about me, and I take it in stride because I photograph as well as Shrek, and so there's not much I can do. I tell people look.
Well,
Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know if you realize who you're talking to. It's me that made the shirt.
Oh, I figured.
I'm the originator of the shirt.
Who I know. Who else is going to call about the shirt?
Okay. I
now,
didn't know. Maybe you. I was worried that you thought the meme had spread all across the internet already or something. No.
I've got enough little birds out there that thing would have come back to me eventually in multiple. I'll know when the meme takes off.
Oh yeah.
And that at that point
Absolutely.
I'll have to hide. Anyway, we're going to the break, so sorry we can't stay and chat forever. But thank you, and I look forward.
Thank you, and shout out to Doc Michael.
Right on. All right, we're coming back to the last break. Hey, you guys, Wendell and Shelley, stay with us for one more, okay? Then we'll kick you off.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. I'll hunt you down. Yeah. With drones.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 4 of 4. It's a call-in show, and Karen B's with us, and of course, the wonderful debaters from the YouTube video, which is racking up the hits. Flat Earthers versus scientists. Can we trust science? 2.7 million hits, 53,000 comments, and it's only been out a few days. And that would be Dan, Wendell, and Shelley in Los Angeles. Are you guys still with us?
Yeah. Can I point out that there's not a flat earther in sight in that audience, not one. So it's a real opportunity to jump on these people, knowing that we have their attention. And it's really exciting to know now I'm shooting for like 1 in 100 at best, you know? And so if somebody comes by in the street and they're flat, it's pretty cool because 1 in 100 is a huge number. And we talk about what to do with the masses. What are we going to do with people when they start coming around? And I've got an idea what to do with the newcomers and an introduction. And I'm looking forward to presenting it in Dallas.
Right on. But I can't wait to hear it and talk about it. That sounds great.
I got a plan.
And by the way, I think it's way higher than 100. Don't forget the U.gov survey, which freaked out. I mean, the whole reason National Geographic even did their segment on us when they came down to do the Salton Sea was because of the U.gov survey. And they said, as U.gov, if you guys haven't looked it up, got younger and younger in the demographics, our numbers went up to where they got to 18 to 24-year-olds in the United States. We were skewing over a third, like 34%, that were questioning, that were globe skeptics. So it depends who. Yeah, but that being said, you got to remember, 90% of our members are still doing it Fight Club style, and that is they are still in the closet. I mean, they may walk by you on the street, and they know, but they're not going to flash you a hand sign necessarily because, they don't want to give it away. But I have run into way too many people, especially, and I didn't realize the scope of it until I was doing that part of the UK tour over in Belfast and Dublin and Cardiff, and then got a chance to do the other festival over in Stockholm. And that was, there were people that came up to us from different countries, especially Dublin, just blew me away. We're sitting in a random tiny part of Dublin, and we had people from almost a dozen different countries come up to us and that knew what was going on. And it's like you multiply that by huge amounts, and the numbers are massive. Just remember, just because they don't give you a thumbs up doesn't mean they're not with you. They're quiet. They're stealthy. So, you know what? Let's pick up a phone call. And with that, let's pick up 845. Hang on, I got to warm up my voice for this. You guys know what I'm going to do. 845, start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it.
New York, New York.
That's what I'm talking about.
With my vagabond shoes.
That's right. They're longing to stray.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Hello, Shelley and Karen and you guys.
Nice. Nice. It's good.
Zuko's such a ladies' man.
Yeah, at least he's honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know who's in charge. I'm not stupid. Hey, I was going to order a case of shirts and send them to a Girl Scout troop.
Oh, the baby daddy?
Yeah. Terrible.
To a Girl Scout troop?
Sorry.
Oh, my God, dude. That would be.
I had to.
That would be the best meme ever, and I think I would be under investigation immediately.
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
That is just twisted, but I still think it'd be fun. Well, again, remember, I'm in 2020. I'm trying to be. In fact, I may achieve this. I'm trying to be the world's first supervillain. In that, I think I can use Flat Earth as a vehicle for that, and kill two birds with one stone. Get so much attention on Flat Earth,
nice.
make it taboo, because remember, once it becomes a taboo, it's unstoppable. Then the kids are like, "Oh, dude." It's like a street drug that's which I put in the book.
Right.
It's like, dude, have you tried Flat Earth
did you
yet?
hear about Flat Earth?
All the cool kids are
yeah,
doing
right.
It, man. You gotta do some Flat Earth.
Yeah.
What are you, chicken?
Come on, I'll meet you in the dugout.
Yeah, exactly. Meet you underneath the bleachers. I got some Flat Earth.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! Totally terrible.
Yeah, but so anyway, that's what I'm gunning for. I will not be happy until I either get a Senate subcommittee or I'm on the cover of Time magazine as the most dangerous man to science. That's what I'm hoping for. So, anyway.
Nice. You're gonna have to shave your head and get a white fluffy cat.
What? No, I'm not going for Dr.
Sit on your lap.
No,
like
I'm
super evil.
No, remember, I have goofy warmth, which instantly disarms you. That's what they wrote, and so that's I'm going to be the clever evil guy, like if Bill Murray became a villain. That's what I'm going for.
Nice, very nice.
Babyface killer.
Oh, awesome!
Oh my God, is that a
Yes.
thing? Babyface killer.
Babyface
That's
killer.
brilliant.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
does
See
any
that?
rapper have that
See that?
name?
See how things work out?
Seriously, Kara, you could work in advertising. You come up with some just freaking gems. That's awesome.
Well, that one's old. I can't take credit for that, but yeah.
Is there a rapper called Babyface Killer?
I forget what it's from, but I remember that from like around the early 2000s. That was a thing.
Well, I'll have to find out. Now, you guys, by the way, Wendell, Dan, and Shelley, you know what the Babyface reference is from, right?
The Gerber
Is
thing?
that like
Gerber
a happy death day baby face?
No.
Is it rapper? Is it
Yeah,
a
Mark
rapper?
likes to
Mine-
act. You act like you don't like it, but then every time it comes up, you have to tell everybody all about it.
I gotta tell people about it. It's fun.
I know, right?
It's fun. Well, okay,
I gotta
look,
tell you something.
there are worse things to be called, and that was in this month's issue of Popular Science. The author, the journalist who I talked to in Denver before I left suddenly. She was talking about whatever, and then when she finally wrote the article, the only adjective she used about me was literally baby-faced. It's like, really? That's what you're going to go with? Baby-faced. So maybe that's a good thing, but I'm going to take it as a good thing. So, do you guys agree?
Definitely.
run with
Go with it,
Goof-
man. Own it.
Sure.
Own it.
Goofy warmth and baby-faced, yeah. So, there's worse things to be called. So, whatever. Anyway, what else you got, Zulu?
Yeah, no doubt.
What else?
Not much. I wanted to say hello to everybody. You guys are awesome. Thank you for doing all that you do. I really do enjoy it. And my one tech thing was I saw NASA said that they're about to develop, or they're going to develop, an engine that would get them to 99% of the speed of light. What a joke.
And I don't want to.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to end the show on an angry rant, but with what freaking technology could you even begin to get a sublight engine? What? Unified field
helical engine. Well, they call it a helical engine, and they say it may violate the laws of physics.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
NASA.
You have to have massive quantities of a heavy element, which isn't even on the periodic table. No, you don't have the exostructure to handle. No, it's just ridiculous. They're talking about this, and they still haven't figured out how they're not going to maroon people on Mars if you could even go to Mars, which you can't.
Oh my God!
I want to know who's going to ride on that engine and survive it.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that NASA made that headline and not Elon Musk, that's stunning. I mean, I could see Elon Musk making that sort of headline, but not NASA. I mean, that's beyond the frickin' pale for them. That's just aggravating.
Yeah, it's all ridiculous.
Whatever. Hey, every time they do it, seriously, it's just drawing more attention to them, because if anyone looks it up, we've got so much content out there, they are going to find our stuff. So, hey, you know what, NASA, if you're listening, you know what, release a story every hour. It'll just make it worse. It's all, it'll infuriate
Right.
me, but it'll still make it worse.
Man.
Whatever.
Too funny. All righty. Hey, shout out to Nathaniel and everybody in chat. Love you guys. Keep it up. Flatober Festapalooza this weekend. I can't freaking wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, by the way, we
wait
should
to
mention
see you
this, because you've been on the show long enough that you're going to be there.
Oh, yeah. Not that anybody wants to see me, but hell yeah, I'm going to be there.
Going to be there, man. No, they know who you are.
You will
Awesome.
not be able to keep me away. And I've had a lot of shit going on the last 2 weeks, and I'm still going.
You should do. Hey, you know what? You know what you've
No
never
way.
done, and I'm going to do this on air because Karen may cave into peer pressure here, and that is, you could even do my intro if you wanted. You could introduce me on stage, unless Karen has an MC.
Well, I'm the MC. I'm hosting it.
I know.
There you go.
But I'm just saying because Zulu wanted to introduce me at Denver or Raleigh, one of the two. And he didn't
Is he
get a
going to
chance.
say start spreading the news or what?
There you go. Absolutely.
Anyway, it's just a thought.
I'm gonna spread the news.
It's a thought because I knew the reaction when you walked up to the microphone and were asking questions at Raleigh during the first conference, and people knew exactly who. There was a buzz around the room when you were. It's like, oh, I know that guy.
Totally shocked the hell out of me. That was freaky. That was.
You got a very distinctive late night East Coast radio voice.
I know. It's not like I don't stand out in every room, 6 foot 300-pound brown man with the deep voice. Yeah, that's got to be him. I know it sucks. I can't hide anywhere.
And he's also a hugger, ladies. So keep an eye out.
Oh, all of you. You're all getting hugs. Oh my God, I can't wait. I need this. This is going to be a good time.
Oh, it's going to be a
really
blast.
Good time.
Yep.
All right. Definitely, I will shut the hell up. Bye. Love you guys.
See you, man. And that was the last I heard from him until I'll be running into. Oh yeah, he's coming in Friday too, right? I think he is.
I think Saturday actually.
Oh, okay. That's fine. That's grubby. All right, last chance for anybody to call in, and while we wait, we will talk to our special guests, Wendell, Dan, and Shelley, from the wonderful video, Flat Earthers versus Scientists. Can we trust science? No, you can't. That's not actually in the title. I just threw that at the end. But the phone number to call in is 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. And Zulu actually chimed in. He goes, no, he's coming in Friday.
Oh, is he? Cool.
Yeah. So everybody's coming. So there's people. Well, I think isn't Ace going to be showing up at the airport at the same time I am?
Yes. Yes. So I'll be picking you guys both up at the same time.
That means less alone time for us, Karen.
Well, don't worry. Don't worry.
That depends on your opinion of Ace.
I'll corner you later.
You'll corner me later. Oh, don't start something you can't finish, honey. All right, let's talk to our guests. Hey, guests. So, do we have any parting shots about? Okay, first thing. I know Shelley mentioned that Jubilee was thinking about doing a follow-up down the road. Let's do plugs for each of you because we have plenty of time. What are each of you doing, and what would you like to see happen in the Los Angeles area and or Flat Earth in general? We will start with Wendell.
Well, I'm knee-deep with Shelley and Joshua on the Plain Truth documentary, Behind What Curve. And actually, Shelley will be speaking at the Dallas conference and sharing some of that. We'll be back there filming interviews. And also, one of the ideas is to give a real face to Flat Earthers. So hopefully we'll be able to set up maybe in the main area and get people, if you're there, come on over and tell us your story. Or if you just come over and say, hi, my name's Bob and I'm a Flat Earther, we'll put a montage together and kind of give a real face to Flat Earth. Behind the Curve was really kind of myopic in that respect. You don't really get a sense of how many people are out there and how much it's grown since then.
Sure.
So, so that's taken up all of our time these days. Lots going on there. And Shelley will be talking about it at the conference, won't you, Shelley?
Yes, I'm very excited about that in November. Yeah, thanks so much. And Wendell has been tremendous help to us. We're working on the documentary tirelessly, and we're headed to Utah to do our opening shot, as well as Los Angeles. We'll be interviewing an undisclosed, how do I say this without giving it away?
What?
An engineer who is a professional infrared photographer, long distance. So we're excited to interview him or her. I can't say who it is. And we're definitely working our tails off for the Plain Truth movie. And for more information, you can go to our website, theplaintruthmovie.com.
Cool. Dan, what would you like to plug and or say and or wish and or Santa's list? Give it to me.
All that stuff. You can find stuff I put randomly up at Dan the Waterman on YouTube. But we also do something called Flat Earth Hollywood whenever there's people around and a reason to do so, because it's so much fun. And I'm hoping that next year we can get back into some form of fun and get our lives back in order and have a good time with this. We're not going to beat it into anyone. And it is, Mark, you've been so helpful, to have me, take it easy and understand it's a slow pace. And it's a poor prize. I don't know if any of you know my idea for the T-shirt is "I told you so" on the front, and the Earth is flat on the back.
It's good.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's the best I'm going to get out of this. Thanks. I appreciate your help.
Oh no. Happy to do it. So our
little known fact.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, little known fact. Dan has found all of the lost NASA stuff that Don Pettit lost.
Oh, that's true. We are going to be interviewing this is exclusive story that Dan has, and we're going to be interviewing him too. He is a finder, man. He finds everything. It's awesome. He's a finder.
All the lost technology. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
That is awesome. That is really, really great. And so, and are all three of you coming to Dallas?
We're going to try to get Dan.
Dan, are you
going to try to get him?
I'm not planning on it.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sending a contingency.
All right. All right. That's fine. I'm just saying it'd be nice to see you. My room apparently is being turned into an open bar from what I've been told. So don't know why.
Well, until it's an open sleepover, we're gonna have to figure that out.
Open sleepover? Is it going to be one of those kind of conferences? What
I'm
happens?
Sure, you've got plans.
What happens in Dallas stays in Dallas. Just remember that, everybody. I don't want any.
It's going to be Mark Does Dallas.
Oh. Thank you, Karen. And considering what industry you never worked in, you probably shouldn't bring up titles like that.
Well, I'm just trying to get you back a little bit.
All right. It's great. Super fun. Okay, let's do the last plug for Flattoberfest. Well, you guys don't hang up yet. Still got a few minutes left. Because this is our last time to plug it before the actual thing. So
that's right.
What is happening between now and next week's show, Karen?
Flattoberfest at Greenville, South Carolina at the Firmament. And you can go to flattoberfest.com to get information, to get links to buy tickets, to find out how to pre-order T-shirts. If you're going, I suggest you pre-order a T-shirt to guarantee yourself one when you get there. Mark Sargent, Rob Skiba, Bob Nodell, Joshua Swift, One Big Love, Twin Serpent. And we'll have some artwork there from Watson Atkinson. Jake Grant will be there. Zulu One will be there. Brian Stavely is also going to be there. So we got all kinds of nice, hardcore flat earthers there to talk with, hang out with. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a great time. I can't wait.
Have you been in touch with any media out there? Should I bring any media kits or not? Or is this more of an intimate event?
No, I should do that, huh? Maybe that's what I should do between now and Sunday is contact the media. I didn't even think about it. I've been so busy doing other stuff.
I know. Well, I mean, I don't know how much media, I don't know how many local affiliates you have next to where this place is. I don't know what driving distance.
Greenville is a big city for South Carolina. It's a pretty big city.
I'd put a couple feelers out to them and have them spread the word. Sure, why the hell not? It's an interesting story. Are you kidding? I think they'd send a team. Why not?
Yeah, okay. That's my job for the next few days.
All right, yeah, just all you have to do is look up television affiliates South Carolina or North Carolina. Either one.
Yeah, call the Charlotte Observer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, newspapers are fine, but TV, they'll send a freaking team. I mean, yeah, newspapers will send a camera guy, but it'll be still shots mostly. Well, it couldn't hurt. Why the hell not? Sure.
Okay.
All right. If you're gonna do
idea.
it, let me know. I'll bring some media stuff.
No, I'm totally going to do it. Now that's because, that's my new goal for the next couple days is to contact some stations. Now I'm going to do it.
All right. That's awesome. And again, I will try for those of you going out to this and not going to Dallas. I am shipping books to Karen. Amazon is supposedly putting them in the works, but I cannot guarantee that they're going to be there. Cross my fingers though, because they're going to be shipped either way, and if they get shipped, after I'm gone, it'd be like, oh great, well, then you've got some pretty expensive leaflets to hang out.
Well, we have till Saturday, I guess, right, to get them. So.
I think it'll make it, but you never know.
It'll make it. No, it's going to make it.
Karen.
What?
I was going to say props to you, Karen, because for putting on the conference, because not a lot of people really know everything that's involved in doing that, and it's a pretty huge undertaking. So props to you for doing that.
Yeah.
I was helping Joe Garcia with Question Everything. Kind of got like a insider knowledge on everything that's going on there. So a lot of details, a lot of things are difficult, but you'll get through it definitely. And
this one's smaller. It's not as big as the big conferences. So I think it's probably a little bit easier than those big conferences to put on. But yeah, it still has taken a lot of planning and a lot of coordinating. So, but I think it's going to go great. Really do. We've got well over 100 people who bought tickets so far. So already that's a better turnout than Amsterdam. So
Peanut Gallery says take the last call on the board, which is California. You know what? Let's take them. I'll give them 2 minutes. Ready? Here we go. 530, the last call of the night. You're on the Karen B Show with Wendell and Dan and Shelley. What's happening?
Hey guys, it's William. I just caught the end of your show. I have no idea what you talked about as usual, but I just wanted to say, Karen, I listened to your last Discord, and I was pretty impressed with one of the guys and with your ability to Discord with them calmly. How I would have loved to have been on that, but I have no idea how to find out when you do that.
Oh, if you go to my channel, there's links to the Discord. You have to create an account and then join my server, and you'll be in there. But if you do, get in there.
Create an account with what?
With Discord, with the app Discord.
Oh, with Discord. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a platform. Right. It's mostly towards gaming, but we don't use it for gaming. But yeah, my server's called Flat Earth Reality. And if you go to my channel and you click on one of them links, it'll get you in there. Or if you're my friend on Facebook, I have that link on my Facebook page, an open permanent link to my server.
Oh, okay. Well, I do have Facebook. So, all right.
All right.
Well, I appreciate it. What's your name? Mark, how you doing?
Oh, my God. You're killing me, dude. You're absolutely killing me.
I'm sorry. I'm just a human here, man, trying to do the best I can.
That's all right.
You get jarred awake in life. Stuff happens.
That's
contagious.
True.
Contagious.
Yeah.
All right. Well, too bad. I had an awesome story, but I can't tell it. So you guys have an awesome week.
Okay.
Thanks, William.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
All right. Bless you.
All right, and with that, we're going to put a bow on this show. Thank you to our guests, Wendell and Dan the Waterman, and of course, blonde bombshell, Shelley Lewis.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah. You guys were wonderful. Thank you. Looking forward to whatever you do next. You remember, you're the LA representatives right now, so anything that happens that I'm gonna be shooting your way, because a lot of those places like Jubilee, it's like, no, we won't pay for you to come down. It's like, what? Whatever.
Yeah.
Cheap. And yet they got a studio for you. Whatever. You know what? I don't need this. All right. with that,
look forward to seeing y'all in Dallas.
Yeah,
that's for sure. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So with that, we've got music in 5 seconds. Thank you to everyone that called in and everyone's email, and then we'll be back next week, looks like. So say goodnight, Karen.
Good night, Karen, with a post-Flattoberfest show.
Good night, Karen.
Next week.
Good night, Karen.
What is this, the Waltons? Take this on the road. Disconnect.